In the second part of this video, we're going to start with order of operations. You see they have the PEMDAS here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. However you remember it is fine, but we're talking about parentheses, which is any sort of grouping symbol, and then exponents. So P is exponents. M and D are technically on the same level, so this is multiplication and division. When you have both of them, we just work left to right. The same thing with addition and subtraction. If you have both in an expression or equation or whatever it is that you're working with, then you would work left to right. And that's the big thing to remember for multiplication and division and addition and subtraction. So looking at this, we have a -8 plus 9 divided by 3. Again, we want to go in this order from the top down. Is there parentheses? There is, but it's really just saying -8. There's nothing to do inside of the parentheses. So when it says parentheses, it means if you have to add or subtract or multiply or something inside of a set of parentheses. So there's no parentheses. Exponents are things that are in the power to the power of squared, cube, that kind of a thing. No exponents. Multiplication and division. Well, this is -8 plus, so that's addition, divided by 3. So this is a division, and that's where we should start. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, and the -8 just comes down. And now I do -8 plus 3. Remember from before when we were doing adding and subtracting, we take the bigger absolute value. So we would take 8 minus 3 from it, which would be 5 is the answer to this one. Okay, so 7 plus 6 times 3 minus 11. Same thing, the first we have is multiplication, so we want to first multiply this. The 7 plus and the minus 11 will stay as they are. 6 times 3 is 18. Now, addition and subtraction, we're on that same playing field, same level. So we're going to work left to right. So 7 plus 18 gives me 25 minus 11. So if you set it up, 25 minus 11, it will be helpful, especially if you don't have a calculator for the first module. 5 minus 1 is 4, 2 minus 1 is 1, 14. That's the answer we're looking for here. So now we have 5 plus a -3, and then now we have this cubed. So this is an exponent that we were talking about for our E. However, we also have a parentheses, and we have something to do inside of it. So that should be our first. It's our parentheses. So we want to do 5 plus a -3. So this is, I have $5. I want to go to the store and spend $3. So I'm left with $2. And that's going to stay in parentheses because this cubed was to the whole parentheses. But I have to first combine and then cubed. And remember that something, an exponent means times itself. So 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times itself 3 times. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. And the last one has absolute value of 16 minus 40 divided by 2. Now, 16 minus 40 it's inside of the absolute value, and absolute value is considered a parentheses because you see it says parentheses, brackets, or other grouping symbols. Absolute value is considered one of those other grouping symbols. So we want to start here with our 16 minus 40. Remember, we're going to take the absolute value of each one. So 40 is larger, minus 16, right? 0 can't minus 6, so we borrow, make this 3. This becomes 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 1 is 2. So I would have 24, and then I take the sign of the larger number, which would be negative. Now that is in the absolute value, right? Divided by 2. Now, we talked about the absolute value in the previous video. Absolute value is the distance from 0, so it's always a positive number. So this would be the answer to this absolute value of negative 24 would be 24 divided by 2, which would give me 12. So now we have evaluate x plus y plus z for x equals 4, y equals negative 5, and z equals 7. So they're giving us a problem, x plus y plus z, and then they're giving us values for each of those. So we're going to just take x and we're going to replace it with the number that they gave us. So x equals 4, we're going to have 4 plus y equals negative 5. I'm going to go ahead and put it in parentheses. You should get in that habit. Anytime you're plugging a number in that's negative, you put it in parentheses. Plus 7, and you could really put them all in parentheses if you wanted, because it's just kind of showing that that's what I'm plugging in. So again, I'm going to move left to right. So I'm going to make this, when you have 4 plus a negative, it's the same as 4 minus 5 plus 7. Okay, 4 minus 5 would give me a negative 1 plus 7 equals 6. Same thing here, evaluate x squared minus y for x equals negative 3 and y equals 11. So I start with x squared minus y, x equals negative 3. Again, put it in parentheses, and that will help you keep track because this is negative 3 squared. Remember in the last video we talked about the opposite of 3 squared, which was written as this, and this says negative 3 times 3. This is not negative 3 squared here. This is the opposite of 3 squared. This says negative 3 squared. So they say something different and you get a different answer because of that. This one is negative 3 squared, gives me 9 minus 11. So I have $9 and I want to spend 11. I am negative $2.